Hello and welcome to The Bottom Line on TVP World. This is where we unpack some of the main business and economic stories of the day. I'm your host, Marie Cato. Today I welcome you in Katowice at the European Economic Conference, and I'm joined by the Deputy Minister for Industry, Wojciech Wrochna, who is also, in his capacity, responsible for strategic energy infrastructure. And that title in itself opens a stage for us to talk about many interesting things that are very timely in Poland and in our region, perhaps even in Europe, I suppose, if we just go all the way. We want to talk about nuclear today, about Poland's nuclear power plants. And I want to begin with Prime Minister Donald Tusk's recent speech that actually brought a lot of attention from all across the media and even just regular citizens, where he really decided to emphasize the importance of putting Poland first, but especially Polish businesses. Make Poland great again, I suppose, is the best way of summarizing all of that. And he also said that the 2 billion zloty that he wants to allocate to nuclear energy, about 25% of that approximately, he wants that money to be put to Polish businesses, so to really get Polish businesses involved. What is your take on that?
First of all, thank you for having me in the program. And answering your question, I couldn't agree more with the Prime Minister. I believe that we are developing nuclear for several reasons. The main and the most important reason is, of course, guarantee security of supply. Nuclear is a dispatchable capacity that can guarantee to the Polish energy system zero emission dispatchable capacity, and as a consequence guarantee stability of supply, and that is why we are developing nuclear. This is first. But second, the Polish government, through the governmental bill it has presented very recently, secured 192 billion Polish zlotys for this project. So basically that's the amount that the Polish government will spend on construction of the first Polish nuclear power plant. It's a huge amount of money, and a part of guaranteeing the security of supply, we want that this part of money will also make Polish economy profit. And how we can do that? Basically through engaging Polish companies in the design process, in the construction process, and working as subcontractors for Bechtel and Westinghouse, the consortium that was selected to construct the first Polish nuclear power plant. We can simply guarantee that they will earn money working on this project, and as a consequence they will boost Polish economy, they will pay taxes to the Polish budget. And yes, we want these Polish companies to be involved in this program, and it's also as important as the security of supply that will be finally guaranteed by this nuclear power plant.
Do you think that the companies that you would expect to get involved in this process, that they have the capacity, the technology to be able to do so?
Some of them already, yes. But nuclear is probably one of the most complex infrastructure projects we can ever imagine, and because of the very highly set standards of nuclear safety, it requires a lot of planning, a lot of capacity to be involved in this.
Can't go wrong with nuclear, essentially.
Exactly. And apparently there is a lot of work to be done in the government, but also within the companies to prepare to work with Bechtel and Westinghouse on the construction of the first Polish nuclear power plant. What we have done, we have basically committed a survey that is actually going through all interested areas and through asking questions to the potential Polish participants in this program, we have assessed what should be done in order to guarantee their participation in this very challenging program. So we know what to do there is a lot of work to be done on the side of the Polish companies willing to participate, but as well on the side of the consortium, because they need to work hand in hand. And yeah, I mean, a lot of certificates are required, a lot of preparations. But there is one big advantage working in the nuclear business. It's a very global business. So we're currently in a period of time when we discuss the reopening of nuclear as a potential source of electricity production. And once these Polish companies get involved in working in the nuclear sector here in Poland, during the construction of the first Polish nuclear power plant, then it would be much easier for them to go abroad to work with nuclear companies and to develop similar projects abroad. There are several countries that are currently thinking about going back to nuclear: Sweden, the Netherlands, Czechia, Bulgaria, Romania, so the United Kingdom. And all of them, they have already plans or ongoing constructions. And once these Polish companies are trained in nuclear, it would be much easier for them to work with Bechtel, with Westinghouse, or with other nuclear companies abroad. So they can really profit from this very much.
But when you say the Polish companies need to get up to speed to essentially meet these standards, what would you say are the greatest challenges that lie ahead of them?
I would say probably getting all the certificates required to be allowed to work for nuclear. And there is a very huge mental challenge. Because they need to get all the certificates that they need to get trained before they are selected to work for Bechtel or Westinghouse. So they need to take certain risk in adopting, acquiring the certificates. And that's probably a huge challenge because it's also a very costly process.
So they need to invest to be able to work in the Polish nuclear industry.
Yes, indeed. And they need to somehow mentally digest this need of investment and get ready and prepare to participate in this very challenging project. But there are huge profits ahead.
And now moving on to Poland's nuclear power plants. So for someone perhaps who isn't so well embedded in the industry, it seems like we've heard about it for the longest time and it's still not there. So tell us, where do we stand in terms of developing Poland's first nuclear power plant?
We've just negotiated a contract which is called engineering development contract. So basically the contract that will be signed in a couple of days between the consortium and PEJ, the investor of the first Polish nuclear power plant. PEJ, for those who do not know, is a fully state-owned company because the first Polish nuclear program is a fully governmental driven. We do it to guaranteeing the security of supply. Yes, I mean, this contract that will be signed in a couple of days is a contract that will allow for the detailed design of the first Polish nuclear power plant. And when this contract is executed and then the design work are done, we will enter the final contract, which is the EPC contract, so the contract to construct the first Polish nuclear power plant.
And in your understanding, this is the biggest milestone that we are yet to face in order to really get things going?
I mean, the biggest milestone would be to first of all get the final contract agreed, so the EPC contract, the one that is still ahead of us, and then also getting the clearance of the European Commission on this.
Is that the hardest?
Yeah, that's really a hard work, and it's the really big challenge. Because of course we constructing the first NPP to guarantee the stable and secure supplies for the Polish consumers and Polish entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, we also want to have that the electricity cost is really effective. And with nuclear, it's very specific. And with the current energy market, it's also very specific because with a large share of renewables that can produce electricity at the very low cost when the wind is blowing when the sun is shining, then very often nuclear could potentially be curtailed. We want that nuclear serves as a baseload to the Polish energy system, so it's producing electricity at the level that is technically possible and safe. In practice, it will allow get the electricity, the cost of electricity effective. So in order to guarantee that, we need to agree with the European Commission on the state aid scheme that will not force first Polish nuclear power plant to serve as a backup to renewables, but to be a fully operating NPP.
So how long do you think it will take before this approval will be received from the EU?
It's a very challenging process. Normally, such procedures can take up to 1.5, 2 years. And the opening decision, so the one that is initiating the formal process of the approval, was issued in December last year and was published in the official journal beginning March this year. So taking the timely procedures, we would probably end up in a very optimistic scenario by mid next year. But we're working very hard to get this decision by the end of this year. So I know it's challenging, but we're working really hard to get it. And I must say that I'm optimistic, and yeah, we need to work hard. We need a certain openness from the European Commission as well, but I believe we will get it. And it's going to be a very important milestone, because without this state decision, we cannot finance the company.
So there is no way that you can proceed, move ahead with the building of the first nuclear power plant without this approval from the EU?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we can negotiate the contract with the final one, the construction contract with Bechtel and Westinghouse, and we still be in a position that we cannot start further works because we simply cannot spend money on the project. As I have said before, the Polish government has proposed a bill, and the bill was voted by the parliament, and we have secured more than 60 billions of Polish zlotys as a direct contribution from the state budget into the SPV, so PEJ, the company that is the investor in the first Polish NPP. But this money cannot be transferred on the accounts of the PEJ only after we get the
all the signatures.
Yes.
On the dotted lines, basically.
Yes, exactly. So we need to get it before we can transfer the money on the company account and decrease the SPV's capital.
And then in terms of the second and perhaps even third Polish nuclear power plant, are there plans, is there a vision, is there a strategy to build more? Because obviously I would assume that once you've got the first one done and dusted, it'll be easier to move on with the next ones, and surely we need more than just one.
Indeed, especially the cost of the second and third Polish nuclear power plant could be lower than the first one because of the lesson learned we can have from the first project. And of course, according to the current energy policy, we should construct between 6 and 9 gigawatts of nuclear. The first is a bit less than 4. So there is still a large gap in nuclear to left for the second and potentially even a third. But we're now focusing on the first one, and we will be starting the process of the selection of the second site and the second plant vendor, technology provider, in the coming weeks.
Is there a chance that you could perhaps work on the paperwork that is necessary in parallel? Just to get things done even faster?
Yes, and I think that it's very beneficial to start as soon as possible because with the first one, we are currently heading towards the construction, and with the second, we're going to start, as you said, the paperwork. So we should first do all the geological studies, hydrogeological studies, seismic studies, get the environmental decision, the localization decision, and this is the work that has been finished for the first NPP a couple of months ago. So we have experienced teams that have been working on this particular areas of the nuclear project. And we can use their knowledge, their experience from the first one in the second one. And the sooner we do it, the better it is for the project. Because if we let these people go to the gas sector, then we lose these competences. That's why we want to start as soon as possible.
And then in terms of sustainability and just energy security, perhaps, I mean, sustainability obviously is very important, but energy security, because this has become a very hot topic. If let's maybe not go to 3, but let's say there are 2 nuclear power plants, perhaps you could give us a percentage of how it boosts Poland's energy security. It's a little bit of a fairy tale scenario because we don't have even 1, but let's assume we get 2.
I mean, all our current analyses show very clearly that without nuclear, our Polish energy security will be put at risk. And why we focus on nuclear while other countries are saying that we can stick to the renewables, storage, flexibility, and we don't have to go for nuclear.
I assume you disagree with this.
I mean, I can agree with this because we cannot apply the same scenarios to different member states within the European Union.
Okay. So case by case.
Sweden has a very different situation than Poland because they have a lot of water storage. Spain has a different situation because of their photovoltaics they can use because of a lot of sun they're having. We have a very particular situation. We have days or even weeks in the autumn when the wind is not blowing and the sun is not shining. And solutions like storage flexibility cannot guarantee to our energy system that the supply will meet the demand. That's why we need a stable, low carbon source, which is nuclear. And we basically want to have nuclear having such particular situations in mind. So yeah, we will have 1 or 2 nuclear power plants, maybe also a bunch of SMRs, which can also complement the Polish energy landscape. Also a nuclear technology, and this will guarantee us the security of supply and a very important thing, still being low carbon.
Okay. We'll have to leave SMRs for another time when you join us in our studios, but for now we'll have to end our conversation. Wojciech Wrochna, Deputy Minister of Industry, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of The Bottom Line here on TVP World. Make sure that you tune in for our exclusive interviews here from Katowice. Goodbye.